don't run on free. Time to pay the red band danger or vamoose.
Listen carefully to the following opportunity. How would you like to produce your artwork without the obstacles of everyday living? Imagine a free place to live, where the roof over your head is provided for, where the water will always run, and electricity flow. You can stay just as long as you create. In the bicentennial year, 1976, the legendary American writer, Mississippi Wilson, left this house to Barney Monroe under the condition that he used his home to provide refuge for the struggling poet, painter, and whatnot. There is a green yard in which to gather your thoughts. A bar in the basement from 1921. Rooms are available regularly. Visit Barney's Art House today. Take a tour. Meet the writers. Eat some free barbecue. My name is Scotty Hooper. One day, I'm going to be a great American writer.
Oh, let me not be mad. Not mad. Sweet heaven. Keep me in temper. I would not be mad.
In my younger, more vulnerable days, my father gave me some advice that I've been turning over in my mind ever since. He told me whenever you feel like criticizing someone, remember to hold. Lord, grant me that I'm always right, for thou know it's tough to turn a Hoosier. Until his death, my father was unusually expressive with very few words. But I understood his colloquialisms to mean a great deal more than that. In consequence, I'm inclined to withhold judgment, a habit that is difficult to keep and has opened many a curious natures in me.
In accordance with my confession, and being a venerable drunk, the reliability of the following narrative is everything but trustworthy.
You don't know me. You don't know my life. Good luck reserving judgment here.
My father also suggested a sense of the fundamental decencies is parceled out unequally at birth.
Step onto my heart, leave your cares to me. Good luck in my world, built with you in mind. Knock and the door will fall over. Seek and you'll go blind. Ask and you'll be given the key to this blur of mine. I'll be waiting here with my arms unfurled, praying just for you. Good luck in my world.
It's time I left this place.
It's only a dinner party, Aunt Martha.
This house makes me sick. I can't take it another minute. No one will listen to a thing I have to say. I'm staring at Sodom and Gomorrah before sunset. If you were a member of this family, I'd still be ashamed of you. Shut up and leave already.
Just ignore her, Doreen. Everyone else does.
But the same thing goes for you, fool. I don't know what my brother sees in you. You would have never received a chance from me. Writing isn't a career, it's a dead end.
Martha, wow.
As for you, don't you have a bowling match? Stanley doesn't have time for bowling.
You know what, Aunt Martha? You sound just like him.
He's the only person who's cared about this house. You should pay more attention to his example. Maybe then your company wouldn't be such a burden. Look who's here. The family wanderlust is back. What's up, sweetie? Tired of the curve?
Aunt Martha.
Don't Martha me. You're supposed to set an example for these lost souls. But I wouldn't put you in charge of a lemonade stand, much less yourself.
You know, he traded his last shoestring for a crack rock. And now he prances around here like he owns the place.
Is Stanley too busy bettering himself to have a good time?
Before you criticize his straight and narrow path, I suggest you clean out your own fort.
If Stanley only wants to make this a better place, then why are dinner parties so terrible?
Pack your things, loser. You were never welcome here in the first place. You just wouldn't leave.
You know, I'd disapprove of parties too if I was so unpopular.
You know, Stanley's the only person that worked hard around this place, and he cast a bright light on all your bullshit, the whole bunch of you. Every neighbor on this block hates this house. Cars come and leave during all hours of the night. They do whatever they want to do, whenever they want to do it, without any regard for the people who live on this street. My brother serves meals to strangers who don't even know his name. Not one promising conversation in the whole lot. Give me a beer, blah, blah, blah. Give me a light, blah, blah, blah. Food and sex and blah, blah, blah. I'm sinking in a wasteland, and there's nothing to pull myself out. I'm leaving once and for all. Good riddance, you sluts.
When she's right, she's right.
She makes Stanley out to be an angel.
She does have a very high opinion of him.
You know, and Barney's even worse. He's crazy. Every improvement that Stanley makes on this place brings him closer and closer to permanent residency. He's raining on our parade.
I'm gonna go watch Barney clean up the table.
Would you ask him about kicking me out of the attic? If I have to move out, that makes me homeless.
Ah, homelessness. When you learn to measure your choices more accurately, I assure you, you won't be living in Barney Monroe's attic.
Scotland. My family missed the Renaissance. Consequently, the family history reads a lot like the Dark Ages. When I found Stanley, I felt that I wanted the world to be in uniform and at a moral attention forever. Only Stanley, the man who is responsible for the current condition of my home, is exempt from my reaction. Stanley is the man. There's something gorgeous about him, like the heightened awareness of the existence of a frontier, otherwise considered extinct. It's as if he's related to one of them first wild Americans that plunged into that deep, delicious forest full of tomahawks and Indian trails. I know it's an extraordinary risk to believe in Stanley after I've lost hope everywhere else. But there's something fresh, unlike anything I've ever found before, and ain't likely to find again. That's exactly why my endanger's got to go.
When I find myself in times of trouble, my reflection comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, look at me. And in my hour of darkness, I am standing right in front of me. At least I am good looking, look at me. Look at me, look at me, look at me. Look at me, what the world would be like without me.
George, you get enough to eat?
What do you got on draft, my friend?
Pardon me, George. Did Stanley get enough to eat?
Would you like me to make reference to the sauce on his face or his belches?
So you gave him a napkin?
I had to go to the bathroom, but I couldn't find one that worked.
Tell me you at least gave him a drink.
Oh, well, he passed on the first tall can, but finished 3 before he finished his meal.
Yeah, that's my boy Stanley.
I went from bathroom to bathroom, but I couldn't find one that worked in the house.
Yeah. How's he coping with it?
Oh, Stanley's fine. He peed outside, but the ladies don't want to squat, and there's a line forming outside the bathroom, and I can't find a plunger.
Stanley's the man. As long as he's watered and fed, everything will be fine.
Okay, if you say so. I'll go and let the ladies know that you're taking care of their problem.
Barney, I do admire a man who waits until the last minute to get his life in order. But that girl was laughing in your face. Have you lost your cotton-picking mind?
Brother, there ain't never been an ambitious tenant here. Stanley's changed all that. He brought hope to the place. And if he's watered and fed, he'll solve that bathroom problem pronto.
Well, I'll drink to that.
Ah, George, if you could have seen him when I found him. Laying there in the gutter, I picked him up, I put him on a curb, he came to. Looked up at the house. Love at first sight. The place charmed him. Took him in, I gave him that back apartment. Fed him, clothed him. Since then, he's finished the entire first floor. And if everything goes well, I ain't dying in no broken down palace after all.
You're drunk.
And exactly what was your first clue?
I don't pretend to know everything when it's apparent that I do. How in the world can you tell the difference between true and false when you're using a potato for a brain? Can't you see through Stanley? True and false are not the same, and I hate dishonesty. Yeah, Stanley refused the first beer, but he'll finish 12 before the night is through.
I will too.
He preaches one thing and does another. Look, Barney, you've lived here for 30 years and haven't lifted a finger. Stanley shows up and you work him like a dog. You gotta ask yourself, what's his motivation? I know a true friend when I see one. When I see Stanley, I see a guy eyeing your daughter and scheming a way into your shoes.
You mean, these shoes?
Careful, Barney. His intentions are not clear, and I'm afraid you've been terribly tricked.
Are you finished?
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Excuse me, George. I gotta find me a plunger. Tenny?
Yeah, Barney.
Hey, come here for a minute. I want to talk to you.
What are you doing?
Looking for a plunger?
Haven't seen one.
No biggie. Let me tell you my plans for this house. We'll make it a bed and breakfast. It'll be a family bed and breakfast.
When I dropped out of school, you had the same idea. You said, "Don't leave, kid. We're gonna turn this house around. We're gonna make it a bed and breakfast."
Yeah, it's still me and you, Tenny. Money isn't worth a crap.
And I left for 2 years. And now I'm back. And everything is just the same.
But now it's different. That was then. This is now. We've got Stanley. And soon, I'll be dead. And it'll just be you and this house.
Don't threaten me.
No, seriously. What do you think of Stanley?
I don't.
Well, maybe you should. I'd like to hear you say that you like him.
Huh?
I said I'd like to hear you say that.
What?
Are your ears incompetent?
Heard ya. Not with ya.
But I'd like it to be true. And since true and false ain't the same thing, I want you to respect my wishes.
You can't be serious, Barney.
I'm sorry I ever promised you Van Danger would be famous. And you know how hard it is for me to admit I'm wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Well, just forget I promised you anything. And look at your current prospects. You could get knocked up.
No.
Tenny, it's my privilege. And this is my house, and I'm a man of tradition. I want him to be part of it.
Whatever.
Yeah, hey, let me know if you find a plunger.
So, I've just heard the most ridiculous thing. Apparently, you want Tenny to marry Stanley?
And what's so ridiculous about that?
It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I'm thinking of the preservation of my family.
Well, maybe you should do more thinking about that preservation before you start adding aluminum cans to your collection.
Speak easy or don't speak at all.
Take
Galifianakis.
it easy, Barney. You know, I thought he was working on your house too much to even have time to think about girls.
Don't judge a man by his weaknesses.
He was smoking crack before he got here.
So drugs are taboo now? He's the only one that gets anything done around here.
Look, you have no reputation to be ruined in this situation. The people that come to these parties don't even know you. I know you. I know that you make mistakes. You're making one right now.
Shut your trap.
Ugh.
It's spaghetti. You should eat some.
Barney thinks I'm gonna marry that troll, Stanley. When he wants something done, it gets done. Well, unless he runs out of beer first. Whatever. I never listened to him before. I ain't gonna start now.
What about Van Danger?
Donnie Van Danger used to sit next to me on the bus. It was show and tell when he brought his father in to do the yo-yo tricks that he was world famous for. And his father always used to say to us, "Life is like a yo-yo." I don't know how we get it tangled up, but we do. Now, Tenny Monroe sat in front of me in the first grade. During the yo-yo demonstration, she raises her hand and she requests the impossible. A triple inverted, around the world, Mother of Mary. Mr. Van Danger, of course, said, "No problem," and he began the feat. Once around, twice around, and on the third time around, he seems to slip, just a fraction, and the yo-yo came back and cracked him in the skull. And Donnie Van Danger was orphaned instantly. Then 2 days later, in the morning on the bus to school, Donnie turns to me and asks me if I know Tenny Monroe.
How long are you staying? I just heard some awful news.
Did you write another story about me?
Van Danger, yo, Van Danger, yo. Who is your Van Danger, yo? Tenny Monroe, she is my hoe. She is your Van Danger, yo.
I wrote another story for you, Tenny.
Donald, when I read your writing, my heart bleeds and an angel cries.
It's good to know that you never cared about me in the first place. Tenny, will you marry me?
If you buy me this house.
Don't you believe in love?
If it comes with a price tag.
Farewell for good.
Your aunt is right. This place is a madhouse.
There is a house in St. Louis they call the Rising Lou, and it's been the ruin of many poor boy, and Job, I know you're one. My mother was a hater. She sold my new blue jeans. My father was a yo-yo man down in San Luis. And the only thing this yo-yo needs is to spin and swing and catch. And the only time he's satisfied is when he's not the Joe. Oh, Monroe, men, your toilets, and do what you've always done.
May this house whose dilapidated condition you adore deserve a roof over your body forever, and bless your family and the seed from which you sprang. For I am your undying manservant.
I have something I want to talk with you about privately. This would give me a chance to share my feelings with you.
Some pride clings to everything I rehabilitate. In you, I see the potential for the greatest rehab ever. The face of this house could have been ruined. Ruined without the intervention of my will. Barney has nearly completely destroyed it. I am entranced when I look upon your flaw-filled state. How can I not look upon all that I've fixed and not adore the author of my vision? It scared me at first when I considered taking over this great abandoned estate. But I promised myself, if I could stop smoking crack, then I could do anything. Your father's house was my first project. I realized my passion for this abandoned house could manifest to a currency I value that didn't exist before I arrived. It was then that I surrendered to its beauty. You are my peace, my solace, my salvation. My very happiness depends on the future ownership of this house, and you will take direct part in my siege.
I thought you were gonna tell me you're gay. Don't you think I'm just gonna run downstairs and tell my dad everything you just said?
Who do you think he's going to believe? His drunk daughter who never listens to a word he says? Or the only gentleman of the house?
This house is a dump. Keep it. On second thought, I'll keep your secret if you tell Barney not to kick out Van Danger. And I get your room.
Bullshit, sister. Are you out of your fucking mind? You don't know how long I've waited for this moment. Stanley, I'm gonna break my foot off in your ass.
Damn it, Marty, I gave him my word. Stop it. Why tell Dad anything that's just gonna piss him off?
Are you out of your fucking mind? This is our house. This is where we live. Stanley, it's time to vamoose, Tartuffe.
My family have been indigent, fit to do anything, people, for nearly 2 centuries. And prior to our arrival in this new world, we were a displaced group, subject to consequence and misery.
Pop, it's time to kick this little piece of shit to the curb. You only believe what I just heard. All this motherfucker's hard work is bullshit. He wants to flip the house by the end of the month, and Tenny, she didn't tell you because
Dad, do you have any idea how many joints Marty has smoked today?
Stanley, is this true?
Every word of it. Unfortunately, I'm a wicked person, all twisted up inside. When I find a nickel I can turn to gold, I can't fight my desire. And after all these years, suppose these good people discovered my crime. I should never improved. the condition of your home.
You are not my son. Selfish, deceitful, flat-billed parasite.
Dad, you can't be serious.
Don't say another goddamn word.
No, Barney. He deserves to speak in his own home. Please listen to every word he has to say. It's true. I'm not who you think I am. I'm no better than the crack pipe from which I was born.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Believe it.
Get out.
But-
Are your ears incompetent?
You have to realize.
I created you. I'll end you.
Oh, Barney, you can't mean that.
Stay out of it. You all are against him. You and you and you against the only single agent of improvement in this house. I'm gonna die in a place that's not falling down around my ears. I'm giving him my daughter.
Dad, do you realize what year it is?
You want to defy and embarrass me in front of my guest? I'll show you who's in charge. Apologize to Stanley.
Fuck no.
We're spellbound, you're hellbound, they said, and I sighed. I said, what does it look like when you close your eyes?
Where did they get off talking to you like that?
I've already forgotten the entire instant. You get used to it after a while. People making fun of you. Bad-mouthing me. When I never harmed a fly. It does hurt. I do confess.
In Lower Scotland, my family missed the Renaissance. Consequently, the Monroe history reads like the Dark Ages. Conduct? I don't know where conduct comes from. Hard work, good luck, act of God? I don't even care where conduct comes from. That boy gets his manners from his mother's side.
I feel terrible for causing trouble in an already troubled clan. I should leave now and find a flop house. I mean, you haven't even found a plunger yet.
You ain't going anywhere. What, and leave all your hard work unfinished? That's crazy talk.
Well, they're out to get me good. They planted a seed inside your brain. Eventually, all those small accusations will build into something you believe is true. And I can't let that happen. I should finish my beer and go.
Finish that one and have another one.
Well, I'm definitely going to keep my distance from Tenny. I'm afraid I just don't belong.
Just the opposite. You make them your crowd. I want you as close to Tenny as you can get. I'm gonna make you my son-in-law and the sole heir to this vast estate. If I left it to them numbskulls, the whole place would come crumbling down. You mean more to me than all of them combined, judging by the work you've done on the place. Just have another drink. This is a good offer.
Let the will of Barney Monroe be done.
I'll write a contract and sign the deed of the place over to you. And there ain't nothing they can do about it.
Got my head over hell for you. 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 Got my head over hell. I'm head over hell for you.
Stanley, a word. The whole party's talking about you in there, Stanley, and I'll be honest, they do not like you. Different herd, different breed. I hate to see Marty inherit his father's temper, but he also inherits this house. I don't think it's in your interest to stand by and watch this misunderstanding play out. Marty shouldn't be banned from here. This is his home, his family, and despite its condition, his turf. You know, Marty has some friends in some very dark places who may not take kindly to the way you're handling this.
I would take great pleasure in mending relations between father and son. I'm afraid you can't persuade a Hoosier that's made up his mind. Remember, there are two in this case. I'm afraid it would just go against their nature. Don't you agree?
Before now, I had not realized how both you and Barney make poor excuses one after the other. These Hoosiers don't need encouragement for their archaic behavior. Do you know what I do in life, Stanley? I listen to my mom, despite my desires or compulsions. By exposing your warped logic and malintentions, I will restore balance to this place.
George, really? My soul is much smarter than that. It doesn't tell me to live with someone that tells lies about me.
And whose advice were you following when you accepted Barney's offer to take his property?
It's like winning the lottery. Nobody in the whole world would ever expect me to win the lottery. I gave up materialism when I started to do drugs. When you're high, you don't need nice things. You don't need anything at all. I stopped doing the drugs, but I still keep the same basic principles. George, I would feel terrible for Barney if the house would fall into the hands of somebody that didn't truly appreciate the value of the property and showed it no respect. I'm afraid Marty would ensure the collapse of his home, and I certainly would.
He deserves his own chance to tear it down if that's what he wants to do. He's Barney's son, you're not. If there's a decent cell in your body, let it out now.
Now isn't the time. I've work to do upstairs.
Cat's out of the bag.
Just the folks I wanted to see. This is the contract that outlines your happiness for the rest of your life.
I'll take it as seriously as the napkin does.
I'd like to share my opinion if I may.
Brother, I'll fight to the death for your right to have an opinion. But I don't intend to listen. This family has made my ears incompetent.
This doesn't even really amaze me. It's just another ordinary night at Barney Monroe's house.
You broke the only rule a Hoosier has. Family comes first. And you still ignored what Stanley said to me earlier.
Let me tell you this about that. I know you favor your brother over Stanley. And when he lied about him, you had to back Marty up. I'm the king of bullshit. You can't fool me. I can smell bullshit before it comes through the door. I can see bullshit when it's coming down the street.
Lord grant me that
I
I'm
can...
always right. I know it's tough to turn a Hoosier. Dad, you're wrong.
What?
Wrong!
Have you lost your marbles?
I know you don't like to be wrong. I know it's hard to accept yourself the way you are. That don't change things. Only you can change this. What if I prove you're wrong? What if I show you? You'll see the truth with your own eyes.
That's impossible.
This is the most boring party you've ever held. I'll show you the truth, and then you'll drive me away for 2 more years.
You're on. I'm only doing this because I'm drunk.
All you have to do is keep quiet. Look, I'm doing this for you. Okay, I'm gonna have to say some stuff you're not gonna want to hear. Hearing a list of our flaws is never easy. Hoosiers like you downright despise it. So all you have to do is remember to hold.
Oh. Hello again.
It's no wonder your plan is working. There isn't a sober person in this house. Daddy doesn't have a clue, and he wants us to be together all the time. Isn't that great? He's been married to this house for 30 years now and hasn't made one single improvement. I don't see him changing anytime soon. My entire upbringing has been a series of unfinished projects followed by barbecues. My playpen as a child was an aluminum collection. He hasn't lifted a finger and he's getting his house rebuilt.
You're confusing me. Am I taking advantage of your father? Is your father taking advantage of me? Earlier, you compared me to a tall can.
You shouldn't have riled up my brother earlier. I had to act like I was against you. Otherwise, they'd be on to me too. You may be able to take advantage of an old man, but don't waste your time. You will never be able to comprehend the laws that regulate my choices.
I thought you were easier than that.
Focus. Daddy doesn't have the financial backing or motivation. What I want is what you want. This house. Barney wants us to get married. So let's do it.
What you're saying is music to my ears. The bulge in my pants wants me to trust every word you're saying. But it's my duty to tell you the truth. I'm having a difficult time here. You loathe me. Every time I see you, you look like you're going to vomit. Maybe some tangible affection may change my mind. Perhaps a little hands-on attention?
Ever heard of charming a girl first and then asking for a hand job?
If you're confessing your love to me, and we're about to take this house ourselves, your father out of the way, a little touchy-feely will hurt.
We should at least be married before
If it's your father you're worried about, I can assure you he's no threat. In fact, he would be thrilled to find you here stroking my passions. Do you have a cold?
Just a hairball.
If a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to see it, does it make a sound?
What does that have to do with your passion?
If there's no one to see our encounter, then there's no one to make a sound.
I'm going to tear him in half.
What was your first clue?
I heard every word.
What's going on?
Shut up and leave my house this instant.
I'm confused.
Yeah, but you're still in one piece, so why don't you leave while you can?
No. I own this house now. You get out. According to Missouri statute, this napkin validates the transfer of ownership of this home to me. It's more than I need, really. Missouri's so backwards, a verbal agreement would hold up in court. How dare you try to kick me out of my own house? I've worked hard to earn this home, and I find your company unbecoming.
Yeah, I might be unbecoming, but you be a going.
This is not good.
What's the big deal?
I get his drift. Turns out I gave away your inheritance.
As if I had one.
Excuse me, is there a restroom I could use?
Learn to squat, princess. The tree's outside.
Real bad move.
Written on a bar napkin doesn't sound too legitimate to me.
Are your ears incompetent? I've got my tit in a ringer. There. I admit it. I've made a mistake.
I'm afraid you're walking the plank, Barney. One mistake after the next.
Minus the upper hand you gave your nemesis. Good times.
I can't believe you fell for it.
I can't believe I fell for it. I picked him up off the street. I carried him inside. I clothed him. I fed him. I sheltered that parasite. And he pays me back with an eviction notice? I'm through with hard-working men. From this moment forward, I'm stomping on every hard-working soul in this place.
Hear ye, hear ye. Trimalchio, our lavish host, has made a decree. There you are, bouncing from one extreme to the next. Where's Donnie? It's time for his father's maxim. Man is like a yo-yo, going up and down all the time. How does he manage to get tangled up? Judging everyone according to your experience with Stanley is not the solution. Try sobriety.
You wrote the deed to the house on a napkin and gave it to Stanley?
Yep.
And now he wants to sell it by the end of the month.
Before you start criticizing me, you gotta remember to hold.
Excuse me. Sorry to come calling so late. I'm sure I'm disturbing your sleep. This is a lovely house. Can't imagine what it looks like inside.
The speakeasy's in the basement, man.
May I speak to the head of the household?
He's busy.
Sorry to be persistent. This home reminds me of the Third Little Piggy's brick home. You know, the one that won't blow down. This is an urgent matter. If you could tell him that Stanley Tartuffe sent me.
Hey, so there's this guy upstairs who wants to talk to you. He says that Stanley sent him.
Yeah, the little twerp came to his senses. Probably too embarrassed to apologize for himself.
Oh, there you are. Mr. Monroe, such a pleasure to meet you. Been such a fan of yours. You're a legend around these parts, if you ask me. Legend. I was a big fan of Mississippi Wilson's plays. He was one of the greatest. And when I think about your friendship with him, I think, what would he have been without you? It gives me great pleasure to share these sentiments with you, because after all these years, I knew that Wilson lived here. And yet, you inherited the house from him. I don't know, the details are a bit shady. Anyway, I dropped by to deliver this eviction notice.
Come again?
An eviction notice.
My ears heard you say eviction notice, but what I meant to hear was you come down here to apologize for Stanley because of the way he's been treating me.
No, sir. Your ears are quite competent.
No, you didn't. You just didn't come up in here and say what I heard you say.
Young man, have you ever wrestled a full-grown man? 5 times. When I was 7, I was chased through a Canadian forest by a moose. My pants are still up there. When I was 9, my uncle, out for some sick, twisted kicks, tempted a 1,200-pound brown bear with my tender flesh while I fended for myself in the back of a pickup truck. Young man, behave yourself.
Not a chance.
Sir, you are a decent, upright, lawful citizen. I'm sure you will not interfere with executing my duty.
Don't be surprised when no one interferes when I'm kicking your ass to the curb.
This is crazy talk.
The notice states that you are to remove your possessions and yourselves from the property immediately. Asking you to leave your home does not bring joy to me, but I represent the law. Stanley wanted you out immediately, but you don't have to leave tonight. I can stay. I brought a sleeping bag upstairs, and tomorrow, after a good night's rest, I'll help you remove your belongings, and all of you can leave to make room for Mr. Tartuffe.
Why, I oughta.
Consider yourself in the company of strangers. And you, sir, if you treat everyone fairly around you, you will be treated fairly in return.
And that's gonna stop me from kicking your ass?
Just give me the papers and leave.
I'll retrieve my sleeping bag from the front porch.
Barney, I still don't have rent. Also, Stanley went to the police. He told them that you're serving minors and smoking a lot of weed down here. They're on their way here now to arrest you. Once you're gone, there will be nothing to stop Stanley from seizing the house. I say run. We'll hide you until the storm blows over. I have a getaway bike waiting outside.
Barney, don't worry about a thing. I'll take care of everything.
Van Danger? Sorry I ever doubted myself. Sorry Tenny don't like you. You're right, my book.
Going somewhere, Trimalchio?
Oh, so you're gonna add lying to it. What else you good for?
I'm callous to your insults. Quite frankly, they're beneath me, Barney.
They must be some short insults.
Whine all you want. There's nothing you people can do to prevent this man from going to jail tonight.
I fed you! Have you forgotten?
I merely served my duty to the community, keeping stupid Hoosiers like you off the streets.
I cannot believe you're evicting the very man who lifted you out of the gutter. Tartuffe, you're a worm.
I may have not gotten the chance to play hide the weenie with Tenny, but I sure fucked you.
I think this belongs to you.
I knew you had it in you. From zero to hero, I knew you had it in you all along.
Good luck in my world.
So I guess we're supposed to be safe now?
Won't you come
Are you kidding? Have you seen a plunger yet?
Still happen now and then. Step onto my heart. Leave your cares to me. Good luck in my world. Built with you in mind. Knock and the door will fall over. Seek and you'll go blind. Ask and you'll be given the key to this blur of mine. I'll be waiting here with my arms unfurled, praying just for you. Good luck in my world.
At the end, when there ain't no plunger to be found, and the clog is here to stay, it hurts to be the fool that feels the cold barrel of the gat up against his skull. The audience, they'll hold their breath. The world will grow very quiet. They'll remember the sound of the click, the flash of the barrel. They'll remember the expression on your face. And Hoosier, you never flinched. You held.
Barney! There's no toilet paper!
The whole party's talking about you in there, Stanley, and I'll be honest, they do not like you.
You will never be able to comprehend the laws that regulate my choices.
When you're high, you don't need nice things. You don't need anything at all. I thought you were easier than that.
Things done got too far gone. We got to let the girls know what they got to do for us. It's done got to be a drag, man. A man can't do nothing no more.
Well, we didn't have no toilet on the farm where I grew up. We all took turns pissing in a Dixie paper cup. Passed it all around, dumped it in the yard. After saving up for 11 years, we bought a mason jar. We didn't have no dishes, so we ate right off the floor. Used to have a toothbrush, didn't know what it was for. Living off the land, we went hunting, we went fishing. Played a game of cards at night, the 10 of hearts was missing. We was poor, but we was happy. We had holes in all our shoes. We didn't give a damn, cause we had nothing left to lose. We made cider in the basement, made love out in the fields. Richer than the soil that give up our daily meals. Yeah, richer than the soil, smell them honeysuckles. We caught lightning bugs at night and smeared them on our knuckles. Summertime, most all us kids walked around without no clothes. Never had no hula hoops or G.I. Joes. Sometimes the whole damn family jumped around and sang a song. We didn't go to church,
'cause we all knew right from wrong. We kept each other close and the furnace kept us warm. Never had no TV set, so we'd watch a thunderstorm. And Grandpa give us haircuts with a rusty pocket knife. Grandma was his mistress and his sister and his wife. And I grew up watching cows and pigs and goats fornicating. Got a whooping one day, I got caught participating. We was poor, but we was happy. We had holes in our shoes. We didn't give a damn, 'cause we had nothing left to lose. Made cider in the basement, we made love out in the field. Richer than the soil, they give up our daily meal. Yeah, richer than the soil. Richer than the soil. Smell them honeysuckles.